If you're not familiar with Hipcamp, imagine Airbnb, but for campsites. Quail Ranch is a 5-acre campsite located just outside of Phelan, California in the Angeles National Forest. This Hipcamp features a full working bathroom, 4 standard campsites, 2 glamping sites, as well as a community trailer and lounge area for everybody to enjoy. One of the campsites is a 20-foot trailer with all the amenities you need for the home away from home experience. Because it's located right off the OHV trail, it makes it really easy to go from camping to off-roading as soon as you leave the gate. The trails are fairly easy, as most of them are just like a dune-style trail. They do play with the suspension a little bit, and if you don't feel like taking your personal vehicle off-road, he does work with a local ATV and side-by-side rental company, and he can have them delivered to the site for when you come. And if you're a content creator like myself, this trail goes all the way up to the top of the mountain and then back down the other side. So it makes it a great photo opportunity or great video opportunity to go get some content. And you don't have to go very far outside of LA. And honestly, the convenience of having a full bathroom in that area just doesn't happen. Sergio's done a great job with this campsite, and y'all please go check him out. Quail Ranch on Hipcamp, just outside of Phelan, California. Without further ado, here's Sergio. If you want to tell them, how old you are, what do you do for a living, all that good stuff.
My name's Sergio. 37. I've been working on this property. Oh, I'm not supposed to be.
What do you do for a living, man? This is conversation. Whatever. Whatever. So, like, he's nervous in front of the camera, so we're just gonna turn this into more of like the podcast style conversation. But
okay.
So you're 37.
I'm 37. Basically, I'm a guy of all trades. I mean, my background is from automotive starting, but I do heavy equipment. Basically, if it has an engine or electronics in it, I could figure it out.
So who do you work for right now?
Right now, I work for the county. I do heavy equipment for the county right now.
Is that like their tractors and trailers, or?
Right now, I'm working on CNG buses. So natural gas. It's natural gas.
Isn't that the one that they just had? Is that the one that's supposed to be going all electric? Whatever, the one that they just passed the big bill for?
We have electric. We're supposed to go all electric, but it's not going to happen.
Is that the one where they ordered all the buses and like it's supposed to be a big tax credit, but then they weren't going to be able to deliver?
That has happened, but
I feel like
it's more complicated than that because when you deal with the federal money, things have to go out to bids. So
right.
Every company needs a chance to throw their bid out there, and then.
But CG&E, right?
There's
because I thought they were tied in with around the same time the automotive strike was going on. I heard something between like the current administration and the government, and then C and something, and it has to do with electric buses and stuff for San Francisco.
Maybe it's BYD.
No, it was a C something. Whatever. What do you work for?
I work for LA Metro.
But you work on which buses?
The buses. They're different buses. We have New Flyer. We have Dorado.
What's the C one you just said?
CNG is compressed natural gas.
Oh,
so
okay.
they're
talking about, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're run off of natural gas. So it's a
100%?
Zero emission bus. Yes.
How well do they work?
They work good. It's basically it's like your Cummins diesel engine, but it's just modified to run the natural gas.
Okay.
So it's a internal combustion engine. It's not too complicated with the.
Okay, so yeah, they do those up north. A lot of the vehicles up there actually have conversions on them, but it's the fuel lines usually can't handle it. You have to upgrade the fuel lines, I think, when you swap to natural gas.
Yeah, well,
it's hotter, right?
Now they're built from the factory, and we do a lot of research and development. And in California, we basically set the standard.
Okay.
And from what we build, or we get custom ordered from companies, then we still have to kind of make our own parts and get them all set in. Once we have a model that is already proven, then we put them on the street, and other companies usually follow us.
Okay.
We even do training for other companies too, because we distribute funds for some of the other contracts that smaller companies get.
Oh, okay, nice. So your company basically goes in and just does the work on.
Yeah, we do the groundwork, and then from there, it all of LA County and other transit companies follow.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said heavy equipment mechanic, I'm thinking like hydraulic hoses and shit.
Oh well, that's my background. I've done, I've worked for waste management. I've worked for a lot of trunking companies. I started off in automotive. I used to work at BMW. So like, there's really nothing I can't fix as long as I have the technical information, and I'm able to get some references.
That's kind of similar to what I was in the military. I was a chemical equipment mechanic, which is technically heavy equipment, but a lot of just reading schematics. And if I can read on paper how it works, then I can probably go out there and fix it. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to like electronics, but if it's strictly mechanical, well, I'll take it apart until I figure it out.
Right. Most of the time, it's like try to put it back together. It's like, well, where did this bolt go? But Hipcamp, we met. Actually, it would be a year ago. Next week. It'll be a year ago next week. No, because I didn't have my trailer with me the first time. Yeah, I did. Did I or didn't I?
When you messaged me on Hipcamp that week, I was just here with my buddy, and he's all like, "Hey, you should put this up. My sister uses this app." I was making an account, and I forgot about it, and then I got this message from you. I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Wait a minute. Like, how do I block this?" But because nothing was ready, and I didn't even think that it was gonna work.
I think it was
right off the back at least.
It wasn't last year. It'll be a year ago in 2 weeks, because I had my white truck, but it wasn't lifted.
Yeah.
And the only thing that was out here was this, and then the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. I had just finished the restroom, and I think I was still tweaking it a little bit.
Because what happened was I had booked an Airbnb, and it went south. Because the Airbnb was not represented right. So when I got there, I was like, okay, this isn't what I paid for or whatever. So I had to end up canceling it. And I remember I was sitting at a gas station, and you messaged me, and I was like, of course this guy's listing isn't ready. And you're like, you know what, man? If you want, you can still go out there. I'm just letting you know. I was like, look, dude, I just need a place to put my head for the night. I really appreciate it. And you're like, I'm not even going to charge you. Let me figure out how to do this. And then, I've been here. This is my fourth time?
Yeah.
Fourth time since. And you've done a hell of a lot of work since then.
Well, I wanted to basically build something that I would want to come to, So that's what I built it basically to hang out. I like to do off-roading. Like I said, I have a mechanical background, but it's very rooted in automotive and motorsports and stuff like that. So this is a perfect place because the trail's right above me. So
this is an actual listed OHV trail.
It's a listed OHV trail, so I could take off whatever toy I have at the time. I'm always building something and, getting into something new. So whatever I have at the time, I could just ride off my property and, invite friends or whatever. And
now, at this location, why'd you choose this location?
I chose this location because I was looking for something not too far from my house to take the ride up. And then this has a direct access to the trails. So you really can't find another property like that. I mean, that's not already owned by somebody else.
Yeah, because this one had the house on it already, right? Or this?
No, I completely...
Oh, it was bare
There was nothing on here.
Oh, wow.
There wasn't even a road to drive up here. So the road, I dozed the road. I put this cabin that still needs work. But this is, where I hang out at. And from there, that's when I did the restroom, and then I started doing the campsites. And
so originally, this was just, you wanted a place for yourself.
Yeah. Originally, just a place for me to come do my work. And I seen the possibilities of rentals because since I have direct trail access. So I was like, you know what? I need to get this place because it's a very unique property. And even though nobody else could really see it, I already envisioned what I wanted to do in my head.
Right. And
I figured if it didn't work out, I would still be happy with, keeping it for myself and just hanging out with me and my family.
Since the time that I came here, which was the first Hipcamp, which was all messed up, I think you started actually listing and getting it going about a month later?
After you, yes.
Yeah, and then how's business been, or how has it been so far as rentals go for this first year?
You know, I didn't try promoting it a lot because I've been working on it so much, but it's been steady. It was did better than what I thought, and that's what not really putting it out there. But it's been a learning curve, and I figured so much stuff out. It was like everything is just, there's no like format. You can't really go off of anything because everything's off grid. I had to figure it all out. A lot of the stuff that I have works very uniquely. Like, it's just not, it's stuff that's thrown together, and it wasn't like this is a recipe to follow. It's kind of like what I know and what I think might work, and then trial and error.
Right.
So a lot of things breaking or trying other stuff, things not working exactly how I want to work. So I've been tweaking, and now it's pretty solid where people usually could just come and not have too many problems. But at first there was like, oh, this broke, or this isn't working, or you having to explain a lot of things. And I've been working out all the kinks, and right now it's where it's pretty comfortable to come.
As an Airbnb owner, I know how that is, because like right in the beginning, there were so many things that I didn't even know were questions that were going to come up until they come up, and I'm like, I never even looked at that. I'm sorry, I never even thought about it. And then after a while, once you get enough of those questions, okay, I kind of got the feel for it. I kind of really know what's going to happen. Let me line this out so I don't have nobody question me anymore.
Yeah, and then you got to think about the customer, and not everybody has the same level of experience in this type of outing and camping. We have the lodging, and then the regular, you could come pull up in your truck and just tent camp, and not everybody's used to that, but everybody wants to do it. So I got to think, well, if I didn't know anything, or this was a totally new experience, how can I make it easier for them? And,
that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
That's the whole reason why, we're in a good location because we're really remote, but yet the city's still close,
Yeah, like I went to Home Depot today to get the pipe. It was not even a 10-minute drive. I mean, like, there's an outlet mall on the same road, so it was like, I think it's an outlet mall or whatever right there, right before it goes into the 215 highway. So you got like Starbucks, Target, Ross, Panda Express. Fucking, literally, I looked around. There's a Texas Roadhouse. I was like, I did not like. I still feel remote, but up until I drove 10 minutes down the road, I was like, I don't feel any remote anymore. But like, it's a weird dynamic. It goes like literally a mile once you get off the mile, off the 215 or whatever. Is it 215?
It's the 15.
The 15. Once you go to the 15, 1 mile, it's all of a sudden boom. It's a pretty hard line between rural and city out there.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. There's like no utilities out here. You have fresh air. You're up in the mountains pretty much, and so when you need to figure something out, you kind of like are on your own.
Yeah.
It is still a little ride, like to Home Depot. It's a good 25, 30 minutes away, depending on if there's any traffic or not. But so it's not impossible, but it makes you creative. Try to prepare better. Exactly. Yeah. So little things, you want to keep extra this, extra that, just in case. But that's my responsibility. And, so it's a very unique place. It's hard to deal with, but at the same time, I like it because it keeps me sharp and it keeps me thinking about the future.
Okay. All right. So, like, speaking of accommodations, what accommodations do you have available at this Hipcamp right now?
So currently, I have running water, to basically take a shower. I have a flushable toilet.
So that's amenities. It's about accommodations.
So
camp spots, glamping.
I'm sorry.
Very good, man.
Well, my accommodations that I have 4 camp spots that you could pull up. And, basically if you have a van, a car, you could get here with the car if you need to. It's a little bit rough, but it's not impossible. Most people do come in cars. And I do try to grade the road every once in a while. So we have fire pits for each of the spots. And we have the regular standard grill, like heavy duty grill, and you could just throw some charcoal.
The 4 camp spots, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the 4 camp spots. Two of the spots are bigger, so you could bring like a travel trailer and back it up. And then the other two spots are a little bit smaller. We have an outside sink where you could, you have your meal, you have to wash your pots and pans. You could go ahead and scrub them right there. You have water and you have the basic stuff for cleaning.
And then you have so you call it the cowboy bunker?
So my lodging, I have the cowboy bunker, which is basically a little shipping container that I converted to a studio, and it has a propane cooker in there. You have your burner for you could do your coffee if you don't want to do it over the campfire, and it has heat and AC. It has bunk beds and a couch, and I even have a TV and a microwave. Right. It runs off of a generator, but if you don't want to,
half, right?
So it's half and half. There's some solar there. It's not the biggest system, but just for the little lighting and small electronics. That is basically if you don't want to bring all your tent stuff and you want to be a little bit, it's glamping, so it's half done for you, and that's real good for people who want to come out here and don't have all the equipment, so they don't need to buy it. They don't need to bring it with them.
Yeah.
Just other than the basics, like some blankets or whatnot.
Okay.
From there, then I have my partner's trailer, which is also a part of my Hipcamp here at Quail Ranch. It's just a separate listing, and that's Heavenly Hideout. Okay. And that is the more luxurious, I guess, lodging.
That'd be like the more like Airbnb style glamping.
Yeah, because that does have more amenities.
So that's what, an 18-foot trailer?
That's an 18-foot trailer. It has a bed that converts into a couch. We usually leave it as a bed because that's the main one. Then it has a little table, and that also converts into a bed. Like if you have kids, right. It's a little bit more work, but it does fold. Breaks down.
So basically, got all the stuff you need on the inside.
Yeah, and that has its own little kitchen, its own restroom. But most people prefer to use the bigger restroom that I have here on site. But that one, it runs off a generator, and it has half solar as well.
And that one's fully covered, front porch.
That one has the deck. It has the patio. It has its own fire pit, and so it's a little nicer area to hang out, more private.
It's kind of like secluded off the side.
Off the side, and you don't have to deal with the rest of the camping stuff, like with the other people.
So you have 4 camping spots. You've got basically 2 glamped spots, and then you have a main bathroom, solar powered bathroom, which is a full hot water shower on top of that, and like restroom that everybody can use.
Anybody could use that. That's full size, so it's more convenient for people to use. The one in the small trailer, it's just smaller. Like I'm a big guy, well, not that big, but it's uncomfortable to be in the little travel trailer showers.
And then I guess you got, what is that, a 25-foot Airstream?
Oh, okay. Well, that over there, that's a
work in progress.
It's a work in progress, but it's going to be a communal. It is a communal area already, but I'm gonna put a small kitchen in there. Yeah.
So we stayed at a Hipcamp in Arizona. It was like a bunch of yurts, and then she had a couple of those glamping like buses. Took old school buses and just turned it into like Airbnbs. Mm-hmm. But they had like a big communal kitchen in the center, and honestly, at first I was like, I don't really want to be around a bunch of people. But honestly, after meeting someone, I was like, this is kind of cool. You get to kind of like, it actually like forces people who are kind of all camping close together to kind of talk and kind of intermingle a little bit. And,
I've had people here at the same time, and then before it's one group, it's separate groups, and then they become one group. So it's also it's a friendly place. I encourage people to get along with other people that are here. Every once in a while, some people don't work good together, but if they do want the more secluded time to themselves, then it's better to get one of the lodging areas. Okay. That way they have their own space.
And he's pet friendly, which is like super beneficial to me because I'm always gonna have my dogs with me pretty much all the time. Talk about many facilities. We can talk about that later. That's more tax stuff. Let me make sure I covered the Hipcamp questions. So, with the income that comes from the property, does 100% go back into the property, or are you able to turn a profit yet? I mean, that was just your first year.
You know what? It 100% goes back into the property. I mean, this is not like really profitable for me at all, but
you're also doing a lot of work.
I'm also doing a lot of work, and I'm looking for the long run. It's not really about the money right now. It's more about me building out my vision and having a place where people can come and enjoy
about it,
themselves.
talk about it. Like it's like, hey, we're gonna go to Quail Ranch this weekend. Like we all know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're working on go-kart rentals on top of that. So like because we're so close to the OHV trail.
Yeah, I have my go-kart rentals that I've been doing for the last couple of months. I have already my workshop, my pit stop, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a track a little bit lower down. That's graded. That way, somebody has a clean area to ride, and then they could be possibly guided rides in the future, where I would go to the top of the trails and take them a little further out. But I always think about people who've never been able to participate in some of these off-road activities because one, they have to know what they're doing a little bit to get involved. Then they have to make the purchases, usually have to get the equipment, the trailer, have somewhere to store it. Yeah. So, I want to try to offer something where it's like you could just come and still get to have that experience, but without all the hassle.
Which makes sense. And especially like the more people I talk to down in the city, there's some people who've never even like been up into the mountains and they live here all their life,
Yeah, I've had a couple of coworkers come up here with their families and the kids love it, and it's like they've never done anything like this before, and then they refer other people and other people come. So we get a lot of first time campers here.
I know every time somebody asks me, I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna go. This is the Hipcamp you need to go to if you're over that direction. Like this is the one this one has the facilities. It has like the things that you're gonna want and need. It's right next to an off-road trail, and then actually, I'm in a couple of these F-150 off-road groups, and we've also talked about hosting an event at some point for like the trucks to get together. Mm-hmm. And I've mentioned this place a few times because it's so close to a trail, and then you can actually take this trail all the way across the top to the other road and then go right onto the other side of the mountain and then come back. So it's like really convenient in location. Yeah,
that's what I like. It's like the closest outdoor place that you can be at that's near near Los Angeles and all the other major cities. You could hike here, you could mountain bike, anything that has to do with off-road, you could basically do it here as well. And there's even fishing that's not too far away. If you want to go snowboarding, you could go to Wrightwood. We're only a couple minutes away.
Is that mountain that's over there?
Yeah, that's the
mountain. There's a ski resort up there.
There's a ski resort up there.
Oh, sure.
We're only like 15, 20 minutes away.
It's crazy. It's like we're in Palm Springs, it's the desert, and I can literally look at Big Bear. I can see the snow, which is like I'm looking at sand and then I'm looking at snow. And then looking at sand, I'm like, this whole little area near LA is just it's the craziest dynamic I've seen as far as like outdoors go. Like me and her talked about it earlier, how even right here, she's like, I'm looking at snow, but here's dirt. She's like, and I'm like, we have like the big boulders, you cross when you come in.
The monoliths.
Yeah, the monoliths. Like I've taken my dogs there, and stopped there a couple times, took pictures. Like it's within 15 minutes. There's so much you can do, like right here.
And you could actually ride all the ways to them from here.
Really?
Yeah, all these trails cut through. You just have to like kind of know what you're doing on the map, but they all cut through. So you could, from the monoliths, you could get to here and you could get back. That's why usually, like if you're up here at night, a lot of these guys like to do the night riding in the side-by-sides. Sometimes you'll see them coming from the top of the hill here in this area, and then they'll end up heading back.
Oh, no shit. Okay. I didn't know that. I mean, I see them out here. I didn't think they were just out there. They were just probably from in town.
Well, there's a lot of people that ride straight from their house right here. Right. But yeah, a lot of those guys, they park on the other side, and they end up taking the trail, and this is like their end game right here.
Oh, okay.
And then, they kind of ride around a little bit, and then they go back.
Okay.
There's also hill climbs here. So some people come for the hill climbs. There's
like the deep.
Yeah, there's Whittle Peak that's right here on in between these two mountains on this side, and just so that's like a good attraction for people who already know the area that ride.
You need a sign out there that says like just even like Quail Ranch, find us on Hipcamp with like a QR code or something. So someone wants to drive up and just QR code, like there's probably so many people that drive by here that don't even realize this is a
yeah. It's more the people that are here, like they usually live close by the locals, so they're not really going to be interested. But so that's the reason why I kind of haven't done it. It's more the people that don't know about, because a lot of people really don't know about this area. I mean, I didn't know about it until I came to look at the listing, And I've been around the mountains. My buddy hunts around here as well, and he didn't know this specific part.
Yeah, I would have never even. I would have thought that. I would have went probably more towards the mountains.
Yeah.
Actually, I think last year when I left here, I went to Azusa. I think it's Azusa. I went north into the canyon, into the mountains of San Bernardino Mountains, and I went Coldwater Canyon, and I did some really good photos there after I left here. But it was like more up in, like I was in snow. It's also where I bent my running boards.
Maybe you went to Mount Baldy. Mount Baldy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like Angeles Crest. That's like not in San Bernardino anymore. But right here, we're almost like we're
right on the line, right? Yeah. I think we had talked about it a second ago, but yeah, I think you still need a big sign that says Quail Ranch. Because otherwise, it's like...
I mean, all of that stuff is in the works, but it's just, you see, like, on like a one-man.
Yeah. So and you're like me, too. It's like, oh, yeah, I do need to fix that. Let me stop fixing what I'm fixing right now and go fix that, It's like, oh, crap. Like, I have to make lists. I have to make a list sometimes even do my laundry. So, like...
and then my list goes to another list that has, like, repetitive stuff.
That has, like, a bunch of other stuff I need to get taken care of. If somebody came up to you and said, okay, like, I'm thinking about being a Hipcamp owner, what's some advice you would give to a new Hipcamp owner that's thinking about it?
Well, I mean, the best thing to do is to take the initiative and actually start going to Hipcamps and, checking them out, seeing how they're ran, and seeing if you like it, because there's a lot to it. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. And, a lot of people like the idea, but to actually put in the work, that's a whole different story, and it's not easy. It's, you got to be creative, you got to be, you can't give up, because there's going to be a lot of, monkey wrenches thrown in and things that you can't compensate for, and it's just, to not be disappointed, the more prepared you are, the more chance that you have at,
so pretty much
succeeding.
Go into it with a mindset that this is not just something I'm going to buy, it's going to start working for me.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work. I definitely wouldn't do it unless it's something that you have to be okay with, I'm doing this because I like this, but not like if you're trying to just make money, like you really have to have your heart in it, because a lot of it's going to be your personal touches, your creativeness, your hard work that might not pay off, but you still have to be happy with the results. Like,
right. So it's not like an Airbnb or somebody like trying to make, like they're purchasing it to make money. Like
yeah,
I can see that because I stay at a lot of Hipcamps, and I can see the people who put work into it, but they're usually there or they're close by, or like they have. There's something about that place that's special to them, and they're wanting to share it with other people.
Exactly, and that's what it is to me. This is a place that I built for myself and my family, and I want to share it. And if I had no rentals, I would still be happy being here, just having it.
That's actually a really, really good concept to take away from it, because we talked about, we said we own an Airbnb, and it's our personal home back home, and we talked about doing more. And then as we got more into Hipcamp, and I'm doing a lot more driving around, I'm like, really would like to do a Hipcamp. But I've always in the back of my head, I've always thought that when I owned rentals, I wanted them to be places that I also enjoy. Like, not just because it's going to make money, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, the land here in the mountains of California really is not badly priced at all, especially out of San Francisco. Once you get on the other side of Sacramento, the land is actually like, I think I saw not too long ago, it was for like $200,000. It was 600 acres on the side of the mountain. But I mean, it was the side of the mountain, But we talked about it, and I was like, that's kind of what I enjoy anyways. Like when I go outdoors, the reason I tell my story or I do my videos is because I enjoy bringing what I'm able to go do to other people.
Yeah.
And I think that whole aspect, it kind of got me in the direction of also looking into hip camps that could be more of like a place I go to escape, but to bring people also to show them my escape.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's if you're into it, then you're gonna do it because of your, it's part of your passion. It's something special to you. But to get into it, just out of making money, that's kind of just setting yourself up to fail.
Right. Because I mean, it probably can't be. I mean, I've done the math a few times. It's $20-$30 a night to stay somewhere, unless you just own the land outright. And there has been places like near Arizona when I was moving out here with the dogs. I stayed at a place that was just a lot. I mean, there was a spot where somebody had built fires, but that was like,
well, yeah,
it was it, man. That was it.
Like all the money I personally have in here, I'm not gonna get that back in years,
Right.
And some people don't see your vision because a lot of people are like, why didn't you buy another property, like a house to rent? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And it's like, well, you know what? I'm doing what I want to do because I like it. And it's like, yeah, I could have made other investments, but that's not really, I'm not getting anything out of it personally. Financially, yes, but I see this for a place in the long run, something that I'm going to leave to my family as well, And like I said, it can be more profitable, and there's a lot of potential here, but it's not a guarantee.
For you, it was like, instead of going to buy an Airbnb for financial reasons, you wanted something that was just like personal to you, that you was going to be an experience as well. Right?
Exactly, and I've done it from the ground up. Like there was completely nothing here, so now I'm more knowledgeable of. If I had to do it again, I would do it differently, but you have to start somewhere to learn,
Right.
And like I said, if somebody was to try to do their own hip camp, whatever it may be, the best thing to do is to get out there and start actually staying at these places to see how they're ran, and all of them are going to be ran a little bit different. You try to talk to the owners if you can. If not, you just a visual and and see what else is around there because
I think another good piece of advice is that I'm not a hip camp owner as of yet, but I know you've said it a few times. I know I've said it to my wife a few times because every time I bring up something, like you're attentive and you listen because it's the customers. Like,
yeah.
And that's one good piece of advice I would say. Anybody who owns any kind of customer-based business is listen to your customers. They will tell you what you need to do moving forward. Like, we're finding out there's a heat situation with the bunker right now. We're working through it, and when you listen to the customers and you hear their problems and you're able to fix the problems, you make the experience better for future customers.
Yeah, like not everything you have to learn firsthand for yourself. Either customer feedback is always appreciated, and that's why whenever somebody's here, like I always encourage them, if they need anything, let me know. If I don't know about it, then I can't help them.
Right.
And there's some things where they do give their own ideas. Oh, you should do this. A lot of the stuff, like, yeah, I've already thought about it and I just haven't done it yet. But every once in a while, you might get just a different
perspective.
Yeah, a little bit different. It might even be what you're already gonna do, but it might just be a little bit different. And you try to take all the good.
Right. Which, coming from working with so many different jobs as well, you understand like the full aspect of like, the things you learned at BMW, like not all that stuff exactly carries over, but like there is something that one or two things like in the back of my head, like that can work for this situation too. And it's kind of similar with guests as well, because you might have like one thing where it's like, this is how everybody does it. And somebody comes in and is like, oh, this is a much better way this way. And it's cheaper and this. And you're like, well, hell, I never even thought about that,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of, internet, cameras, setting up like your place where it's more comfortable, where you could go and not worry. It just takes out like that worrying. Like I have cell phone reception right here. Luckily, it's a good area, so there's usually always reception. But little small things that back at home you might not think of, once you get to these remote places, like
hey, I forgot this, I forgot that. Like why
yeah. Yeah, like the remote place like here, you're gonna be like, oh man, like I can't, like if I'm gonna go to the store, I have to go take a trip. I'm gonna at least be gone for an hour, and it's not.
Well, luckily here it's not that big a deal. An hour, 10 minutes. I mean, the gas station might have a few things. Like in town's not that far away.
When things are open in town, they do have all the stuff that you would need offhand. But like if it's on a Sunday or if it's late at night, like you're gonna.
Because like where I stayed at the other week in Fallbrook at their Hipcamp, they had an on-site like little convenience store. But I mean, I'm an hour drive from the base of the mountain up to the Hipcamp spot just to get, because like the way the roads are super windy, like 15, 20 miles an hour. I didn't purchase anything there, but it was also a working cattle ranch. So they kind of had like a sectioned off, and they had started putting some glamping sites, and that's the one I told you had the container with the grass on top. But like most of their income came from the other side of their ranch, so they had people there working already.
The business side.
Yeah, so like I don't really see them, although the glamping sites were priced pretty high, and then kind of where it's at is literally right next to the naval base or the military base.
Okay.
So like it looked like it had quite a bit of reviews, but like there's still things like I missed the exit when I got there, and I didn't have cell phone service.
Yeah.
And then I had to fire my Starlink up, and then that took a minute, and then but it didn't say on the listing that I wasn't gonna have cell phone service. So I mean, there's nothing but houses and neighborhoods everywhere I didn't think about, and like there's little things like that, like you said, that this place has.
Yeah, and even like I'm always available whenever somebody books. Like I always wait until they check in. I usually like kind of see like if there's any delays. Like I don't try to bug anybody. But I always tell them, like, what, I'll give you where are you coming from so I can give you the best route to get to my spot. Because if you just go off of coordinates, since this is remote and it doesn't have like it's a dirt road and it doesn't just have an address that you could come to.
It's not just a single dirt road. There's a couple crosses.
Yeah, and then like, if people, ignore my directions, some people find it, that everybody's navigation skills are a little bit better than, or they're different. And I've had some people get lost, other people...
I had to call him when I first got here because I was lost. Because I got here at night. And if you're getting here at night, you can't hardly see this building.
Yeah.
Now you can use the lights, but the fence wasn't there, and there was like nothing here the first time I stayed here.
So those are some of the things that I've been working on since you barely came. And I'm going to put some flag markers, which I already have. I just haven't put them out. But that's the thing, like, you got to... When you do these hit camps, you kind of got to work with the people too, like I'm always there, I'm always available to answer any questions or to help people with their needs. But if my customers don't ask me, like sometimes they might get a little frustrated, but it's like, if I don't know, like I can't help you,
A lot of people that I've noticed though also just don't want to say anything, they want to be rude, but then they'll turn around and just leave a bad review.
Yeah,
Gosh,
and those hurt because I'm always like, it's like, well, all you had to do is ask me,
right.
or if I ask them and then like they don't ask for my help, and then they, it's kind of like, well, this is why I told you do it this way, because I've already been there with other people,
Right. Well, off record, that's why you also always say everything in the chat on Hipcamp. That way, if they do try to, I'm like, look, I sit here and you saw a couple messages back. I said, ask for help, This phone call is different. But that's why, like, when we rent our Airbnb, we have them walk through the house and video the whole house when they get there the first day. Because we do long-term rentals.
Okay.
And then they do it again when they leave. So they try to say that they didn't break something or whatever. I'm like, you videoed this and sent this to me in Airbnb app. That's a little extreme, but... I also dealt with some extreme stuff this past year.
Yeah, I've had a few people do some things here, but for the most part, if there's wear and tear. There's always going to be wear and tear, so that's fine. But as long as everybody respects the property, so I could continue, trying to offer the best service I can for people.
And I will say that too. Me and my wife talking about that today is like being overly nice is a good thing, but also. It necessarily attracts the bad people, it lets the bad people do whatever they want. Yeah. And that's the kind of like the learning curve lessons. And like it sucks because I'm the same way. I'm a really, really generous person. But I've gotten screwed over so many times, you kind of have to start putting some like rigidness down. It almost sucks. It almost like takes it like pulls something from you. So I don't know how that is, man. So 2023, first year opened. That's all learning curve. What's the plan for the next year and the future for this Hipcamp?
Well, for next year, I'll have my little off-road dune buggy rental. That should be like fully launched by the end of next month. Of course, I'll still be working it out a little bit, but that'll be up and running. And other than that, I'm gonna probably do some archery. I'm gonna have some more of my land graded.
Archery, or is it maybe axe throwing?
Well, I'll have both.
Okay.
I'll have both because it's gonna be around like the same type of setup. So I'll have a little range.
So now you're gonna go from basically having accommodations to also having like
more activities. That's what I want to do. I want to offer more activities for the people who stay here.
okay.
And then I want to really focus on that vintage trailer that I have as a communal area and fixing it up a little bit better in the inside. That way, it's just a lot of people that do the dry camping, they bring their own stuff, but it's nice when somebody already has an area where I have my little kitchen and I don't have to come bring all my stuff. But if they want to, of course, they could do it their way.
Well, I'm the same with us right now. Like I have a full setup in the back of my truck. But it's
Yeah.
nice just to walk in, do it. I can clean it right there. I don't have to take mine out.
Exactly.
So more activities for people staying here, and then getting the communal trailer set up. So basically, just going back and then redoing some making.
Yeah. All the buildings basically that I have in place, all the structures that I have in place, just working on them and getting a little bit more user friendly.
Okay.
More lighting.
So now you've got basically 2023 was the outline and getting it established. Now you're gonna go back and just basically rework everything to the up to standards a bit.
Exactly, including the main cabin, which will eventually be a separate rental. But for now, this is just kind of like my area. So it's not one of the lodging areas yet. But eventually, once it's all fixed up here, then I'll list it. Usually, probably for like full rentals of the whole property, because I don't want to just have people in and out of here too much unless it's a bigger like event and stuff. So that's what I want to try to do. I've had quite a few people contact me to have events, so I want to start working on being able to host events here.
Okay, so hosting events, more activities for the campers, and then just basically fixing the place up a little bit more.
Yes.
All right, so.
And the go-kart rentals.
We'll see, like, those things look a little dangerous. I don't know, last time I was on a go-kart, I put it on 2 wheels, sideways, so.
Oh, well, they're dangerous, but there's ways to be responsible about it and still have fun. But all motorsports are dangerous.
I've had 4 crotch rockets, so I know exactly how that, before I met my wife. She would not be happy if I had a crotch rocket. But everybody, this is Sergio. He is the Quail Ranch owner for Hipcamp outside of Phelan. I've been enjoying coming here for quite some time. It's also been, a stopping point for me from here to San Francisco. We're in Palm Springs now. But just like you said, I like coming out here because it's not too bad of a drive. It's outside the city. But you're not too far outside the city. You don't have cell phone service. And the views have been amazing. You can see the snow-topped mountains on the other side. Plenty of room for my dogs to run around. It's a great spot. And I hope you enjoyed this insight into kind of what it's like being a Hipcamp owner, what it's like staying at a Hipcamp. I really feel like this is kind of like Hipcamp's kind of right where Airbnb was when they first started out, where you get a lot more of the user experience. But I don't see Hipcamp turning it into what Airbnb is with all the third-party management and never even really seeing these owners. Like you said, you have to be real involved with the.
It's very personal, like the Hipcamp thing, and you'll see it because, I've stood at some myself, and people, it reflects them, like it's a part of them.
Right.
You see the love. You see all the love and the sweat that goes into it, and then the personal checking up on people and just trying to make the overall experience good for.
Because I have stayed at some where it's just a lot on the land, and the one I stayed in Arizona was fine, but I've stayed at other ones where the owners hardly even message me back. I can't really get any questions in. It's you can tell they did it, and it's really just kind of there, right? Versus the ones who really super responsive host. You need anything things when you get there, it's set up for you as a camp. It just makes the experience so much better. It makes me want to come back. You know what I mean? And I hope y'all have enjoyed this insight. I'm probably going to do a lot more of these. Maybe here, who knows? I really hope to host one of our events for the F-150 group at some point here. Just because the trail riding is so nice, and they're not too overly crazy on the trails.
Yeah, it's just nice views and a good time. It's good for family, you know.
Any closing statement? Anything else you would like to say?
No, I mean just follow. You can follow me at Quail Ranch on Instagram. I usually try to post updates every week. Every once in a while, I might be doing some behind the scenes work that's in the city to prepare for something out here. So I might not have any posts, but
So if somebody was looking into doing a Hipcamp, they come in and look at some of your videos, kind of see like what you've done and kind of how you've set things up.
I usually my story I post when I'm working at the ranch out here, and the little just common repairs or weird incidents that I have over here. It's you'll see the insides and the outsides. And my main page will you see the way the property changes from nothing to a little upgrade here, and now it's like a place where you can come and relax.
All right, guys. Well, my saying is I hate outros because I'm terrible at them. I just feel like a robot when I'm trying to like do all my outros. Like, if you look at all my YouTube videos, they're all just like, okay, bye. But thank y'all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Talk to you later. Oh, and book a Hipcamp.